Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today I'm going to review, I think, is an awesome set of LED lights. Now this is the old one that I took down, and you can see I just filled the holes here with just some hot glue. I'll use this in another application. But this is a 150 watt bulb in here. It's got to be 20 years old. And for a lot of you, you can remember seeing some of these, and this was the electronic eye that, you know, the motion sensor that was attached to that, and it's got all the little settings on the back, the sensitivity, you know, all the different functions. Well, the biggest fault that I found with this type was if we had a little bit of a blip of a electrical outage just for a couple of seconds, well, the light on my shed in the backyard would stay on forever. It would never shut off until I had to cycle it off and cycle it back on to go back into the same mode of just being set so that when somebody walks by, well, the light would go on. Well, also with this was the amount of time that you could adjust the light to be on. And with the new one, it's all different. There is no adjustments like previous, you know, sensitivity, and well, this one here is fixed at 20 seconds, so it stays on a maximum of 20 seconds. That one there, yeah, it was 150 watts. The new one, I measured it, and it's exactly what they say, and I believe it's 12 or 14 watts. We'll take a look, but I'll show you. But this is out with the old and in with the new. Let's take a look. Okay, so here we go. Here is the new one. And this is all LED lights. This is the motion sensor here. And it's got two arms that you can move back and forth. And of course, all the adjustment is done on the bottom. It's got the screws down on the bottom, so you can adjust it so when you put it to a certain position, it'll lock in. And on the back side here, you can see the nut. And on this side here, well, there's a screw in there too. But you know, the best thing I like about this is, well, 14, I believe it is. What does it say here? 14 watts. From 150 watts to 14 watts. And this is at least twice as bright as what I had before. And there is some interesting engineering that they've done into this. One thing I like and one thing I don't like. So if we take a look at this, you can see that this is offset. So you can turn this around 180 degrees if you want. So it can be mounted on the high side or mounted on the low side. And you got two spots here to put your screws in. Now the thing I don't like is there's no adjusting collar to tighten this up. So this is just like a friction fit in here. But I guess if you really wanted to, well, you could. You could actually, you know, just like crazy glue it or that kind of stuff if that was bothering you. Now, I do have one of these set up on my shed. I'm going to show you that. And this one's going on my other shed. And I think it's a pretty good idea. Now, you get two in a box. And I paid $50 plus tax for two. And I thought that was a pretty good deal. And it comes with this ring. Now this, just take the one side off here, the sticky side, and it goes on the back. And it's like a foam, and that's great. And it also comes with a remote. And I really don't think I'd ever have any use for this remote. Once I set it, that's going to be it. Forget it. But I'll just tell you. Now I do have it all wired up like you can see, and I'll show you what it looks like inside. But on the back side, right here, is a button. And what I really like about this unit is there's an off. So you don't have to kill the power to, you know, your shed or anything. You can just turn it off if you want. So if the hydro goes out, it reverts back to the original setting, which is the setting of motion detection. And this will not go on until it's dark at night. But you click it. When it's in the off position, you click it once, and it will go to the setting for, you just click it once, and it'll go to the setting for motion sensitivity, and it'll go on for 20 seconds and stop. You click it again, Now in this setting it'll stay on a real dim, I would say a low light condition for, they say, roughly around 4 to 6 hours, and then if somebody walks by for the motion sensitivity, well, then it'll go to the high. And then you can click it one more time and it does the opposite. What it does is it stays on the high, but it will not use the motion detective, it won't use any of the motion sensor on it until after 4 to 6 hours. And then after that, what happens is it goes to low, and then it'll be motion sensitive after that for the rest of the darkness. So no, it will not go on until it's dark enough. And so I'll only be using it in the setting that is just motion sensitivity comes on if something goes across it, and stays on for 20 seconds, and that's it. So 14 watts, that's a bonus. So I'll show you what it looks like on the outside of my shed. I already got one installed. And then I'll show you my other shed where that one's going. Now, as you can see, I've got it all wired up, so I'm just going to plug it in here. I don't want to blind you all, but I'll plug it in and I'll just show you what it looks like. Now that's, you probably can't tell here, but that is pretty bright. And yeah, you can go through the different modes, and I'll just see if I can just go through the modes here without blinding you. See, that's the second one. And then of course the last one stays on permanently all the time, and you really, it doesn't work unless you're in the darkness, right? So I tried to fool around with this and I couldn't get it to work until I read the instructions, and yeah, you got to wait till it's dark out before you can do that. But as you can see, the wiring here in the back, very well labeled, you know, live wire, neutral wire, and you got your yellow with a green stripe is your ground. But the problem is, in my one shed, I'm going through about this thick, maybe 6 inches of wall, so I got to put an extension on these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an extension on these off camera. But let's go outside and I'll show you what the first unit looks like, and I'll bring you over to where the second unit's going, and then we'll install this. And I'm going to use some one of these to make sure that your electrical circuit is not on and everything is safe. And let's get to it right now. Okay, so here's the unit that I installed about 3 days ago, and you can see how that's installed there. And you know, the adjustment is under here, which is so convenient, little push button. And I made sure one arm went in this direction because I have another shed over there, so I wanted to light up that shed door. And very easy install, you can't go wrong with that. And when you're looking at it, yeah, I could have had the light positioned all the way up on the top side if I want to. Like, that's what I'm going to do with the next one. So let's go over to the to my other little shed, and I'll show you where that's going. Okay, so here's my other shed, and all you can see is, well, I'm not too sure if you can, but yeah, there it is. There's the hole I put in the front. So it'll just be so easy just to put a couple of screws in, and I'm just going to use some screws to go in the front there. I'm using some steel roofing screws, and that'll be nice to go in there, and I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. Okay, so here we are in the inside of the shed, and you can see all I did was tap into the light switch. Now of course you turn the lights off, no, it's not going to affect the light on the outside, so I wired it on the bottom side so that it stays live all the time, and it just goes up there and it comes across and it goes into the box. And as you can see there, I always have the ground already installed, and I've got my 2 wires, my hot and my neutral. So what I'm going to do is just feed the other wires through. I'll connect them. I'll show you how this is all done. It's so easy to do, and then I just have to finish it off with putting a cover plate on. So I'll do some soldering first, and then I'll bring you back and I'll show you installing the light on the shed. Well, here we go. Here I just put the extensions on here and shrink wrap them. So I soldered it, and then I put 2 layers of shrink wrap on, and I applied the gasket to it. And it does come, it came with 3 of these bags, you know, with the connectors and the screws, in case you're attaching this to a receptacle box like I showed you on the inside of the shed. So it does come with some hardware as well. And here's just the tape that come off the back there for the sticky side. And I'm going to be using these. And if you take a close look, you can see that there's some gaskets on there. Well, there's 3 of them in each bag, you know, to weather seal it, so when you put the screw in here, it's got a nice gasket on. So I'm going to use these ones here because it's going into wood. So let's get to that right now. Okay, so let's get to it here. I'll just feed the wires in. As far as they'll go, that's about it there. And just kind of line it up best I can here. Once I get it started. There. Now I can tilt it up to get access to the bottom side. And I'm just going to eyeball it there for being level. I'm going to say right about there is good for me. And I'll just tighten up the top one again. There, that compresses on the gasket real nice. So I can adjust this later, and we'll go inside and finish off the wiring on the inside. Okay, so the first thing you want to do when you're doing any electrical work is make sure that the power is shut off. So I like to use one of these, and it's an electrical verification tool, so when it beeps, it will tell you that the power is on. So make sure you have the power off. So if you just go to this, you hear that there? So that is verifying that the power is on. Now this is the neutral line here, so the power won't go through your neutral. So make sure you're testing your power line, which is your black. So let's go over here to the, here's the ground. So I've got the one ground that is from the power source already tightened down to my electrical box. And now I'm just going to get my pliers and just twist. There. I'm going to push these down into the back of the box, and that's it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these 2 wires. Now these are the neutral. So I'm going to take this one off here. This is just a protective cap because I really don't care for them type. I prefer this type here that's got like a little bit of a wing on there. So again, the first thing you do is you tighten these 2 wires together. So I'll just get them to the same size here. There we go. And then it's just a matter of twisting it together. I mean, this ain't too hard. I mean, anybody can do this stuff, right? And you don't want to have, now you see how long that is there? Now you want to make sure that your cap goes all the way inside. So as you can see, if I tighten this all the way down, there, that's all the way on. So now I'll show you the same on the power side. And if it's too long, well, you just cut a piece off, right? I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. So we'll go on the power side here. Now you could actually see that this one here, one is long and one is short. So after I finish tightening this up a bit, there, now I just use my cutters on the side, and that's it. I cut it. So again, I just put this on like this. Like this. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to wrap it up, put it back in the box, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. And that way there, all I have to do after is just put a cover plate over top. So I'll bring you back when this is all finished, because this ain't done like this. So I'll bring you back. Okay, so there it is, the finished product right there before you put the face cover on. And I just put some electrical tape, you know, from the wire here onto the connector. And, you know, that's a good thing to do, because you never know if it's going to vibrate loose or anything. So I think that's a good safety feature right there. All I have to do now is just put the cover on, and well, it's pretty much done. I'll show you what it looks like on the outside after it's all been adjusted, and let's take a look at that next. There's the light installed, and it's all ready to go. So as you can see, I got this one here facing on the other side, and I got this one here facing in the other direction towards my steel shed, and that's it right there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till it gets dark, and then I'm going to show you how good these lights actually light up. Okay, it's nighttime, and the only lights that you should be able to see is in my shop. So I'll walk out, and we'll see which one comes. There's the first one come on. Here's the second one. Now, that just lights up the whole yard, and I'm telling you, it's hard to tell at nighttime, but everything is just as bright as you could think. So I think they're awesome lights, and the other one should go out right now. Well, I hope you liked that little bit of an experiment between the day and the night, so you can see exactly how bright it actually does get out there. And there's one thing that I went through all the instructions, and it said that it's not going to go off, you know, it'd be tripped by, say, the wind and that kind of stuff. But you know, over the last couple of days with the one on my steel shed, yeah, it has gone off at nighttime, and I went out and took a look. There was nothing there. But I think maybe it was the leaves and that kind of thing. Because, well, my neighbor, he's got one of them as well, and it goes off and on every once in a while too. And I'm not too sure what it causes it. But he looks out as well, and he said, I don't see nothing. The thing just goes off on its own. So I'm not too sure about that. I mean, if it goes off 3 or 4 times during the night, I don't care. 14 watts, I'm good with that. But I think they're actually quite, you know, quite well made. It's all hard plastic. You know, there's nothing there to rust. I don't know what the long-term, you know, idea of how good they are over time. Because I have tried the solar ones, and you know what? Might as well just take your money and throw it right in the garbage. Because I've tried them at least 3 times now. I got about a year and a half out of them. The one just stays on all the time, and the other 2, well, the batteries get bad in them, and the solar panel gets sun-baked, and you know, it might go on maybe a little bit, but it's so dim. This here, yeah, the 120 volt, it's bright, and it's, you know, it's right at you loud. So that's what I wanted for a nice security light. I think they're quite reasonable for $50 for 2. I'll put a link down below for where I bought them. Now, I bought them on Amazon. I have nothing to do with Amazon. You know, I have nothing to do with this product. It's not a sponsored kind of a video where somebody gets something sent to them and they show it. No, no, no. I buy it myself. I review it myself. And, you know, this is the results that you're going to get. You're going to get a real review. So thanks for joining me here today. I hope you liked it. And next week, I have an interesting video coming up on a product that I had for, I'd say, quite a few years, and it just, well, it took a dive, had to replace it. And next week is going to be a review of a pretty interesting discussion on air compressors. You guys come back for that one, and if you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe. Come back again and see some real reviews. Cheers.